Grig, right in Grig, 2016, Airhead Boone. I am trying to propose a one safe trade, transit, insurance, commerce, sales tax, appropriation, accountability, infrastructure, investment, prepaid, dividend bearing system for the United States citizens and an exportable model for the rest of the globe once it is ironed out, because the rest of the globe seems to have an agenda of government. They're trying to form a global government to offset the United States' firm grasp on global dominance in the world's marketplaces and the military and exploration. And we need to come together retroactive and proactively to engage in helpful conversation to eliminate the mandates of doing business with private insurance companies, to secure securities that should be provided in a simple commerce tax, a one safe trade, transit, insurance, commerce, sales tax, appropriation, accountability, infrastructure, investment, incentive, prepaid, dividend bearing system that eliminates the need for private insurance companies, eliminates the need for taxes on one's personal property, their true retirement, their personal holdings. Because when we integrate into exploration and we take off on a ship that's tagged and legal, and we're gone for a couple years exploring the galaxy or wherever we may make it to, we shouldn't have to worry about our personal assets being liquidated because we weren't able to wire the money back or service the debt like that. I mean, there's got to be a change in the way that towns and counties appropriate their funding. And it should be through a commerce, sales tax, appropriation, accountability, infrastructure, investment, incentive, prepaid, dividend bearing system that has 5 things. It has a sales tax for the town. It has a sales tax for the county. Basically, this is the transportation and the road surfaces, the town. The security is the county. The educational and recreational activities is the state. And the civil defense is the federal government's jurisdiction, along with health and all that kind of stuff, to be sure there's nobody contaminating their neighbors' assets and resources. And the 5th one's kind of my favorite, and that is the part where we invest in purchasing the bailout of the intellectual patent laws and technology holders, medical apparatuses and all this. We start purchasing it and moving it into the public domain, especially where like communicable ailments are, like respiratory infections, which is rampant in the public school systems. We could purchase this stuff and move it to the public domain, so we could eliminate having to pay these ransoms all the time for public ailments, communicable ailments, and everything. The sales tax, if we put the sales tax on tires, that should be enough to secure the roads. I mean, we haven't phased out tires yet. If we had sales tax, anyhow, we're going to phase out tires as we phase out roads when we hit the skies. We'll have a few more surface treatments for the roads before we start integrating into landing strips, I would imagine, or just a little bit broader, more platforms of transportation. Anyhow, we need to just secure our civil rights and our ability to defend ourselves, because that is what is giving us what peace there is in the world. The mechanism of the United States citizen to be able to defend themselves against a dictatorial government is a necessity. We cannot have giant police actions doing what they did in Iraq and in the Middle East by taking, and anybody holding a gun was basically either targeted and sequestered to give up their arms, their defense, maybe the only way they had to earn their living through hunting and keeping their herds alive. I don't know. But you cannot go and target everybody who has a defensive armament. You cannot expect them to surrender their armament until you're able to facilitate their security personally, and you cannot do that. So that is kind of off the table. But the UN government formation is adversarial to the United States Constitution, and I cannot get that on a conversation. Clinton and Trump are soap opera political people, and we need to get the grassroots people with calluses on their hands to go up there and set the values of personal labor and the values of security, and be sure that it's delegated without the neglect of a layman that has just been formally educated by an institution that wants to keep them, wants to maintain as the remedy for the citizens' regimen of life. I mean, I can't fathom why they were allowed to abuse you, forcing you to stay in school for such long hours seated when you could have been out building your physical dexterity. Yep. So please get a good conversation about how we're going to move forward with the next 100 years of exploration, and we're going to do it greenly, and we're going to do it promptly, and we're going to do it rightly, and we're going to do it goodly. I mean, clearly, evidently, publicly,